Now, Max, why is it that people so misunderstand their own power and their ability to manifest reality?
Well, it's just the way we've been conditioned. It's what we've been conditioned to believe. People just find it very hard to realise their potential as human beings because of the restraints that have been put before them by things like the academic institutions and science and religious teachings and things like that. I mean, all of these institutions have been designed to compartmentalise information, to keep you locked within a certain paradigm. Neither of them will embrace the teachings of the other. They will constantly argue with each other. Science at last now, through quantum physics and things, is at last now beginning to make the connections to spirituality. Science is actually coming full circle because it's realising that spirituality is scientifically explainable. And so that's a blessing. But I think before the break you asked me why I did this. A lot of the reason I've done this as well is because I think people need to understand how they are contributing to this reality. They've got to understand that your life is the actual prayer. Your life, every single emotional thought you have contributes to this reality, and it's the beliefs that they are instilling into people and the emotions that people are feeling that are creating this reality. And this is what's being used to create this. And the work that I was just about to talk of before about Masaru Emoto, when he did the experiments with water, how when he loved water, it crystallized into beautiful crystals. And when he said to the water, "I hate you, you're ugly, I want to kill you, you make me sick," the water went all black and muddy and you know. This is the way it works. This is just emotion, and it's affecting water, scientifically shown to affect water by your emotions towards that water. Now, our bodies are 60% water. So the emotions that we are thinking all the time, every day, are so important. It's very, very important for people to get a handle on this and understand it and to act in a proactive manner and to understand the responsibility that they have, because we may not be to blame for what's going on, but we are very responsible for what's going on by the thoughts that we are having. This is truly what it's all about. This is what Christ tried to teach people, and it's very important that people understand this, because we're in a situation now on a physical level where we are completely dependent upon this corporate apparatus, which is very, very dishonest, very despicable, has no regard for humankind. It puts profits before people. And we're dependent upon this corporate apparatus. People need to start getting off the grid, doing what you're doing, John. I totally respect what you're doing, homesteading, growing seeds. And for anybody who's listening out here, you should be growing your own food. You should be getting these survivalist seeds and growing your own food. And I mean, John here on the show is offering you a great deal. He'll even buy the seeds back off you, so there's no excuse for not doing this. If you live in New York, you can get plastic garbage cans and you can grow vegetable crops on your balcony. I mean, you can do this. Everybody can do this. Doesn't matter where you live. You've got a way of growing your own food. Even if you live in an apartment, you've got a way of growing your own food, at least to a certain extent. People need to get these skills back, because that's one of the main things that we've lost in the last 100 years, is we've lost our life skills. There's no, as Michael was saying last week, there's no grandfathers teaching the old ways to the kids anymore. There's none of this stuff. I posted on my website, which is I found on rents.com. It's been all over the place, but I thought I'd post it there in case anyone hadn't seen it. It's an 8th grade test from Kansas in 1895. And I defy anybody today, even with a university education, to be able to go and pass this 8th grade test. And this is how much information we've had taken from us. And you have to ask why this test has sort of appeared on the internet now. It's almost like, well, let's release this test and let's see if anyone can pass it. And then let's see if they see their inability to pass this test as something to be concerned about, whether they just laugh it off and go back to their TVs. You know, if they do that, we know we've really got them dumbed down. And that's the problem. And people are kept in this state by these institutions and by the toxins and fluoride and poisons in their food. It's so important that people get rid of fluoride. You've got to get this stuff right out of your diet. It's doing bad things to your brain, and you don't even know it. And people need to wake up to this. They need to get a little bit of self-sufficiency back. They need to get back in touch with their humanity, because things are getting very strange. I mean, the time is like speeding up. It's as the frequency rises, you see, as we get closer to the end of this cycle, and we get closer to 2012, and the frequency rises, like the Fibonacci sequence that I've mentioned many times, our bodies, our body clocks inside that also rise, trying to keep up with the harmonic balance of the planet. So this balance that was 7 cycles a second, that was constant for hundreds of years, thousands of years. They made atomic clocks based on this time, and then it started to escalate in 1986. And our body clocks are escalating to speed up to it. And it looks like 2012 is the date that we're going to hit, like on 21st of December 2012 is the date we're going to hit 13 cycles a second. And it's also the date that the magnetism, the Earth's magnetism, which is decreasing, rapidly decreasing, is going to hit about 0 on that day. It's predicted to hit 0 on that day as well. So it'll be a very interesting day when these two frequencies meet. So we might even have 0 magnetism on that day. There's a very, very good possibility of that. And at that time, the magnetism of the Earth will reverse, and north will become south, and south will become north. It will slowly increase again. If you look at the magnetism of the Earth, it's been decreasing for the last 2,000 years. And on a scale of 1 to 10, over the last 2,000 years, we are now on a little bit below 1. Wow. So we're losing a lot of magnetism. Yeah. And that'll be a very, very interesting day, I think.
When we have that magnetism shift, Max, are we talking about something catastrophic that could happen, or something spiritual? What are you thinking?
Well, it's just going to be very interesting. I mean, we might find that a lot of electronic stuff stops working. I mean, birds are certainly going to have a hard time flying around. I don't see it as a physical pole shift or anything like that, but it's a flip in magnetism. So it's going to be very interesting. I really don't quite know what to expect from it. I think it's going to be a very interesting day to be around.
Yes, it is. And time does seem to be speeding up, at least in my life. My gosh, I can hardly hang on. Let's take a short break.